Present! Arms!
So with us here is Greg Carraro, captain of the 2nd Regiment of York Militia, 1812 Reenactment Company. And what are we doing here today?
Well, today is the first in this season's musters, drill sessions, and we've been rather rusty over the last couple of years with COVID, so it's the first time we've actually been able to come together physically since COVID and the lockdowns began. What we do is we go over the various maneuvers, the drills that are required to be proficient and safe reenactors in the field.
And what is 2nd York? What do you do and normally?
The 2nd Regiment of York Militia is a historical reenactment group. We are a subcommittee of Heritage Mississauga, and we portray the men who served from the modern Mississauga region in the War of 1812, and we participate in the various annual commemorations of the battles that were fought mainly in the Niagara region.
And we do hope also that in the year ahead that and beyond, we'll see 2nd York out in the field in public events as well. So this is them practicing.
This is us trying to look sharp for the audience, trying to look convincing, historically accurate. It's always important.
Joining us here is Sergeant Bert Jagoda, and he is with 2nd York, and he is the one giving orders today.
Yes.
And so wondering if you can tell us, guys, what is it you're doing and what's happening here today?
Well, today we're here to train all the soldiers in the 2nd York. Ideally, I'd have very many of them, but this is the first big one since 2 seasons of absolutely nothing. And it's a day of training from the ground up. No matter where you were before the Great Lockdown, we're all equals now. It's time to start training from everything basic as moving step by step to advanced positions with the muskets to formations and doctrine. And we're here to train it all today over the course of 5 hours with my guidance and their obedience.
So you're teaching them to walk again?
Yeah.
What now? You're giving the orders. I mean, you look very polished out there. You've obviously trained and drilled and practiced. So you've got an expertise with this. Now you have all range of abilities here. You've got some new recruits. You've got some people that are veterans now on it.
That's right.
But this is about shaking the rust off.
Yeah, it's about shaking the rust off. But with some, especially the veterans in the unit, they've got the memories. They've got the muscle knowledge of what to do, but the wiring has been all screwed up from doing nothing but sitting down at their desk for a year and change. So my job is to make it so they no longer think about what they're doing, but the instinct becomes rewired properly. So this is where we're at a great equalizing point. All skill levels just vanish into one thing. We're training from the ground up.
Now, you're in a position of command here. You're giving the orders.
Yeah.
What's that personality like? How do you become that individual in a field?
Well, you can't take yourself too seriously because there's no legal force or heavenly force which compels them to listen to you. There's a deal of buy-in, a deal of role play, but you need to adopt a persona that's a little lighter. You have to be able to look at yourself with self-awareness and look at the training as something totally foreign to a person of the 21st century, and let them know that it's okay to make a mistake, that you're not good. Like many people want to rush the persona of gruffness in a sergeant to yell at people and say that's the only part of being an NCO, a non-commissioned officer, that counts. But really, you have to start with the basics, the smallest emotions translating into something very, very huge, and just be very, very patient. Take your time and try to feel for them. For example, you don't want to give a speech while people are hoisting their weapons up for an hour. Keep your words short. Water the men often. They're like plants, you know, we wear green, so there's a bit of a common relationship there. And just take it in small steps. Respect them and you'll watch them grow.
And this is again about taking the rust off. You're polishing the unit. Eventually we'll be out there in the public again so people can see the results of your efforts. This is the practice, right?
Yeah, it's like, let's say we're a dance company. Right now we're in the black spandex stage. We'll have the good uniforms way later on, the good costumes that is. we're going to do many more drill days like this, loads more, to get us not just up to the standard we were at before, but far beyond it, so we can put on the best coming out season ever.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
So here we are with Vlad Adamec, who is ensign with the 2nd York Regiment 1812 reenactment group. And Vlad, just what are you wearing? Here you are in summer dressed in wool.
Yes, so this is a uniform of an officer of the Charitable Regiment, which was one of the regiments that fought in the War of 1812. Even though it's a bit unique, it was actually a regiment which was composed, at least at the beginning, mostly of the Swiss emigres, which were in the British service. Now, they did adopt a very typical British uniform. In this case, it was red tunic with black facings. And pretty much in all aspects, it was similar to the regular British officer's uniform. Now, the officers of the Charitable Regiment were on occasions detached and served with militia unit, primarily for the purpose of training, as they had extensive experience. For example, in the Charitable Regiment, fought in the Europe for pretty much most of the 19th century from 1801.
So it's an accurate representation, though, of a combined militia unit that would bring in officers for training. And behind you, we have the training taking place, and those militia soldiers are in a different uniform.
Yes. So the uniforms which are worn by the soldiers or by the privates, that's the uniform that they wore at the beginning of the War of 1812. As you can see, they are green, and the reason for that was that at the beginning of the war there was quite a shortage of the red material, of the red clothing. So as an expediency, it was decided that the militia would be dressed in green. During the course of war, as the supply situation has improved, actually the orders were issued to switch to the red, but it was not applied necessarily, and some of the units continued to fight in the green uniforms pretty much until the end of the war.
And what brings you out here today? What are you doing today?
Well, again, after many months, we have a chance to come out, put on the uniforms and practice a little bit. So I didn't want to miss an opportunity.
So this is an opportunity, as the public events happen or open up in time, to shake the rust off.
Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, RAMA and Charity Gaming, for supporting us. Huzzah! Huzzah!